This computer. All right, officially welcome everybody. My name is Sajid Nair, along with Meghna and Deepti. I'm the Atlassian committee leader for Delhi. And we have Sarika with us today, who is an Atlassian engineer at Trundl and also the Atlassian committee leader for Mumbai chapter. And we are going to talk about Atlassian Compass today. If you have any questions at any point in time, feel free to ping it on the chat, ask it directly to Sarika. We'll also be uploading this video on YouTube. So if you have any missed moments that you want to check out, you can go to the YouTube channel and check it out. And yeah, that's it. I think over to you, Sarika. You can just introduce yourself and then we can begin.
Sure, Sajid. Let me share my screen. I think you have to allow me to
let me
share my screen. Yeah, you can make me a co-host.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Just give me a minute. Yes, I can share it now. I hope you all are able to see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you for joining, team. Myself, Sarika Dalal, and I am, don't know, yeah. So before starting the topic, so our today's topic is all about the compass. So before starting the topic, let me introduce myself first. So as Sajid told, I'm working with Trundl, and I'm working with Trundl from last 3 to 4 years. I'm currently working currently working on marketplace app development. I have a hands-on experience on product administration, scripting, and apart from that, apart from work, I love to manage my home and enjoy cooking and gardening. So this is all about me. Um, now let's move our today's agenda. So in today's agenda, I have prepared 3-4 sections, so where which we will talk. So first we will understand why this tool came. So I'm going to cover that in why we need Compass. Then we'll talk about introduction to Compass and who it's for. Then how does Compass help in development process, and demo of Compass key concept, and then we'll take a Q&A. Let's understand first here which problem Compass will solve. Now we already have so many tools in marketplace or in Atlassian. Why we need this tool now? So here the concept is, we all know nowadays in software development we use a distributed software architecture, or we call it as a microservice architecture as well. Where this architecture is a set of loosely coupled coordinated service which will run independently of each other. It means instead developing all the code in a single service, they will build a small service, and that service will be related with each others and they will run individually. Okay, each service perform a separate task. So now here we will keep a track of which service it depends on what, so it will be difficult to understand if we will manage it. So now what is the benefit if we will go with the distributed software architecture? See, distributed when we'll get multiple service, the management and the tracking of that service will be difficult, but still what is the benefit? So for that, let's talk here. When smaller team that specialize in a different service are responsible for each service here. Okay, they work in an independent code base and that will be easy to manage. Okay, after that, when a service, let's suppose in our application we have around 100 services. Out of that 100 service, one service having a maximum load capacity, that time you can deploy a new instance of that service and enable the horizontal scaling. So that will be help. We are not disturbing the complete application. We will just change, or we will just increase the load capacity for that single service. Then next, smaller frequent deployment to an individual service. So let's suppose there are multiple teams are working. Deployment of that service will be easy. Instead stopping others disturbing means instead of disturbing other service, we'll just deploy one service and we can perform our task. Separation of functionality reduce the risk of breaking changes. Let's suppose in my service, if there any failure or break, we can just change that service code. We will not disturb other code. So that's why separation of functionality reduce the risk of breaking changes and that impact the entire software. Okay, it is easy to fix and find a bug in the individual service. You can deploy changes only for a specific service without bringing down the entire software. Okay, so this is to understand, to have a proper view of this distributed service architecture, we will need Compass. Okay, now here you can see this is a very old diagram that I have put here, where it is explaining about the microservice. So here you can see they have here services, multiple services. Now here, if you will see in our code, it will be very difficult, very difficult to understand this services depend on this service, or this services depend on this service. So it will be, so to understand or to have a proper idea of this, Compass came in picture. Now what is Compass will do? Compass basically is a developer experience platform that help you to navigate your distributed architecture, and will bring all the disconnect information about engineering output and the team collaboration on a team together in a central and a searchable location. Basically, it will give a bird eye view of the service across the organization. In our organization, if we have any software, that time we will have a complete eye on each and every service. We can understand which services depend on what is that, which team is working on it. So for that, we will use Compass. Compass will always give detail of real-time activity, updates from your component and their dependency, with data pulled from across all the tools in your software development toolchain. So I will explain all about this, about the third point when we will have a demo. What is the history of Compass? So if we all know, Compass was announced in April at Team 2021. Now it's Team 2022 is coming. So Compass is powered by Point A, where Point A is a program where good ideas become amazing product. After Point A, it will be, might be they will release the beta version of it. Compass Alpha is announced in the first week of December 2021. To sign up for Alpha, you can visit this website, and you can test the app here. Now let's move on the next slide. So who it's for? Now we have the product. Now for whom it will be useful? To understand this, we have Compass add value in a different level of organization, from development to engineering manager running multiple teams. So it will be helpful, or it will be used by a developer or a manager who is managing multiple services. If I am a developer, I will write a single service, so I should be aware my services depend on which service. Or if I am a manager, I have to have a clear idea about all the services, so I can see that. Now Compass is for you if you are in one of the following roles. So if you are a developer, so you write the code, and with the advent of DevOps, you also take a responsibility to deploy and operate the code. Now here you want to learn about your software architecture. So if I'm developing any software, so I should have a clear understanding about all the architecture. Now find the information about components, their owner, who's the resource working on it. So it will means evolve the relationship between the components, so I can understand other components also. Now if I am an engineering manager role, so you lead one or more team, facilitate their work, their practice and their success. You want to onboard new team member to your software architecture, find information about your component, their owner, so it will be easy for me to understand other services as well. So I hope you all are clear why we need and for whom it will be useful. So in the next slide, we'll understand how does Compass will help manage development process. Okay, now here we will create a component, and we'll start tracking a component ownership, relationship, and a health from a centralized place. So let's suppose in a single place, I can see a list of component. I can see their owner, who is the owner of it, who is working on it. We can see the relationship, and we can see a health of that particular component as well. Now next, there is a one more way where we can integrate the component manually or by the API as well. So we'll see the point number 2 when I will demonstrate the app to you. Next point, we have a single place to view engineering output alongside that team that build and operate your infrastructure. Here we will declare component relationship to get bird eye view. So basically, as I told, right, it will give a complete eye on all the component. Then here we have a point add ownership to keep track of, maintain and operate a component. Here we can maintain and track and operate a specific component as well. Now next point we have here is automate component management by reusing existing code repository. It will be helpful if you will have a complete architecture and all the component you can easily reuse. Okay, so here we can integrate our version control to component data and ensure component are always in sync with your repository. So here you can integrate your component that are exist on a GitHub or Bitbucket, that we can integrate here. So that integration I will walk you through as well. So now I will take you on a demo. Just give me a minute. Okay. So here you can see I have installed Compass instance. So basically I have initialized one instance that is on a cloud. So easily we can integrate it here. Now here we have a option. You can see some of the options in the header. Here we have option of components. Then teams, here you can integrate your teams. So I will walk you through that. Here we have option to see a health of a component, and there if you want to integrate any apps, that also we can use here. Now here this is a place where you can create a component, you can import a component, or you can create a component by API as well. So as I mentioned, if you have any component that is on a Bitbucket or on a GitHub, that you can add here. So now let's start with the team setup first. So in a team section, I have created some team like database team, development team, front end team, and which each team I have added members as well. So if you will see in a development team, I have added one member. 1 minute. Okay, I think I have added one members only. So with each team, you can add multiple members as well. Now here you can bind team with a specific component. Let's suppose I am a part of database team. So I have created a component called database component from this section. I have created multiple sections like backend component, chat service, database component, front-end component, user search service. So like that, you can create multiple components. You can bind individual team and the owner of the team here. Okay, and here you can add a description as well. With the component, you can create a services of the code, libraries. You can connect application here and other if you have any other categories. So basically, it will be a code repository, I will say. Now here, if you will see chat service, so now here I can easily see a complete detail. Now we can see a priority basically. 1 minute. Okay, so here you can see a priority of it. I can give a description about it. I have linked here my repository, Bitbucket repository, that also you can see. So I can open the Bitbucket repository code here. I can add some documentation detail as well. I have connected my Jira project here. And if you have any Jira dashboard and any other dashboard which you use for your project tracking, that also you can add link here. And if you have any other link, so we can see all the useful information about this particular project we have all in handy in a one place. So this is about the project details, I will say. And here you can add honor team. So I can add who is working on it. So I'm saying like it's a development team who is working on it. So I will say, after that, you have, if you have any chat channel, or if you are using Slack or Teams, that you can add here. You just add a link and give a name. It will be very handy to add here. After that, we have on-call schedule option, where if you are using Opsgenie and if you have any on-call schedule available for this project, that also you can integrate here and you can see. Now here we can see a scoreboard of the component. What is scoreboard here? Now scoreboard will help you to scoreboard basically is how much your project details are complete. I will say my project details are not completed, that's why it is giving 50%. I have not added dashboard, links, documentation. So we can change this scoreboard setting anytime. That I will cover when I will talk in health part. Now here we have an activity option here where we will see, you can see here, I have connected my Bitbucket repository. When I will push any change here, let me change this file here. So I'm going to change content in this file, and let's see, I can track that changes in the Compass now. So let me remove something here, and I will commit the change, and I will commit it. So you can see when I will commit, now here after committing this change, the Bitbucket pipeline will start, and once the pipeline will finish, we can see that change in the chat service component. So you can see the building of code is happening here. Now it is in progress. Once it will successful, you can see that the build number 4 will come. So like that, in a one single place, I can take every detail here. So we'll wait for a minute. So I hope you are getting in activity section. Basically, it will give you a code level of details. Now here we will add a dependencies about each services. Now I have to understand here, my service is depend on some other service, or might be this service is using some other service. So here we have two category, depend on and depend on by. So here I will add the category. If you feel like this service is depend on front-end service and depend on by, and my services depend on by pool component, so that category we can add anytime. Now, so here I'm setting up a dependency. So anytime when I will come into system, if I'm new with the system, or if I'm not clear with the architecture, I can easily understand and I can create a link. Okay, this services depend on this service, and my current service will be depend on by pool component. Now here we have an option of Jira issues. So here you can see I have created a demo project in Jira, and I have linked that demo project here in this Compass tool. So we can see the individual task, epic, everything here in a single place. Here we have a next option of announcement. Now this option I really like. What it will do, let's suppose if your component is having any changes, or if you are planning for upgrade, API change, or any downtime, if you have, you just create an announcement. Now we are saying chat service is going to upgrade. Now I will announce upgrade of chat service is planned in this weekend. Now if I am writing this, what it will do, it will and I'm selecting the date, so I'm saying on next Saturday we have an upgrade of this service. Now what it will do, now here you have to understand this services depend on someone else. So here I'm saying pool component is depend on my this service, so pool component will get a notification. Okay, now let's open our pool component service here. So here if you open pool component service, here you can see announcement, it will give a notification, and here it is having a separate category from dependencies. So is there any notification from dependencies? So here I will acknowledge. Once I will acknowledge this here I can see and I can plan my upgrade. So in announcement section I have added. So here if I will refresh, here it will give me a detail like one of one acknowledge. If anyone is pending to acknowledge, we can plan that as well. So we can send a separate email. So we are informing other services before upgrading our services. So like that we can create a announcement. Now here if you have any component setting that you can check here. Now basically the name of your components, that everything is coming from the Compass YML file that I have added in my code. Okay, now if you will see in activity, we have just pushed the next changes. So I think it is still in a process. So if I have to do any change here in a overview, if you will see a description, the name of the project or component, that I have to change in my code. So in a source I have added component this Compass YML file. So this YML file is setting up the ID, the name, the description, owner ID, field ID, link, repository. If you have any repositories that you can add, so here you can change. So if you have any code, in that code you just add a compass YAML, it will automatically integrate here. So like that you can create a components and services. Now let's move to the health option here. So now previously I talked about the scoreboard. So basically I can create a scoreboard. Let's suppose I want to create a scoreboard here, and I gave a name like test. I gave a name of scoreboard. So each service will have individual scoreboard according to the category. So basically we are defining a category. We are saying if component or service, we are selecting the type of component, and we are selecting recommended, standard, or required. Now next I'm selecting here criteria. If my component have this criteria, then the scoreboard will create. Now let's suppose here if component have the owner, then and I will add another criteria, and I will select description. So I'm saying like every component should have owner and the description detail. So for that I'm setting up the criteria 50% for this, and this all criteria should be equals to 100. Then I will save it. Now here you can see, okay. So now you can see for this particular for each component, this test criteria will come, and based on that we can see the scoreboard of each component. Now let's see the backend component. So here you can see the 3 scoreboards are generated: component scoreboard, service readiness, and the test one. So you can see here the description is missing. So once I will add a description here, so you can see it will show 100%. So basically you can create multiple scoreboards as well. Then we have option of apps. Basically this app section will be useful for the integration of any other apps. If you want to link GitHub, or I have for current configuration I have integrated Bitbucket, so that's why it is showing configure, upgrade, or uninstall. So like that you can configure app. So now it is still in an alpha stage, so I will say we have a very minimum apps here, but I believe when we will move to the beta version, or that time we will have multiple integration of this code. So this is a very small tool as of now, I will say, and I have covered all the points that are that I have explored right now. So if you have any other points or any thought that you, or any question if you have, just let me know. So I think I'm done with the demo. So we can move on QA section.
Hi. One sec.
I have,
I
hello.
see a question from Alok. Says hi all
Yeah, I
for
put the question in the
viewers
chat.
in today's call. A question. Could you please share how the tool helps improving your KPIs and which KPIs? Sarika?
Yeah, please. KPIs. What do you mean the word KPI here?
Sarika, what I mean is that as a developer, I think you measure your performance or output or productivity in some ways. So as basically the Compass tool is helping you manage the components that you develop during your whatever you're developing, integrations or applications. So how do you how do you measure your performance? That's what I mean by KPI, key
So
performance.
basically here the management of a app we are not tracking here. Basically Compass will help you to identify the dependencies. See, your performance of the service or application will be track outside. Here you will basically manage your components. We have just
Yeah.
linked our code. We not have any tracking of any software or a service. We are not tracking the performance of that.
Yeah, I'm not asking about the tracking of the software's performance. What I'm asking is, let's say I'm a user of this tool, right? I have some, I want to do some actions using this tool, which is managing the components that I have developed. Now,
Okay.
if I did not use this tool, there was that same action I needed to do, but that was taking either more effort or more complexity was there. So
What
how do
kind
you?
of action you are taking? It means you are adding some code in your component, or you are removing something. When you are saying action in the component, it means you are editing your code, right?
Yeah, when I'm saying action, what I'm saying is, from the developer's perspective, it could be any action. It could be development of the code. In this tool, I think we are not developing, we are managing what we have developed, the code that we have written, right?
So if you will see here in the chat service, I have linked a repository here, and in the activity section, you can track the code commits.
Yeah.
So here it will give a actions. If you're basically, it will track one action. If you're pushing any code, if you're committing any code, that action it will show. And here in a Jira issues, if you are editing or any issues you are getting, it will link here. That's all. That tracking we have here.
Okay.
I hope I have answered your question clearly.
Not fully, but I think I understood what you're saying, but it will require, I think, a separate discussion to deep dive on what I wanted to.
Yes.
So I'll.
Yeah, let's surely we can connect. Yeah, sure. Basically, it will be just give an overview about the dependencies and the component. It won't track anything apart from that. It will just track your software. If you're committing anything, if you're pushing any change, if you're pulling anything, that detail it will give here, not anything else.
Sarika, there's another question from Lokesh. Is it possible to set hold for update of any application if dependent application has not acknowledged or agreed to a broadcast?
So as of now, I have not explored that option. I just see a acknowledge. There is no other option I have noticed here. So might be it will come in a beta version.
Answer your question, Lokesh. Do you have any further query? You can unmute yourself and ask. All right, he says thanks. Perfect. Any other questions anybody have, or just want to check with Sarika about this tool? I see. How is the license model for this?
How is the license model for this? So as of now, it is alpha, so I can say you can install it. I not have any other detail about the license. Might be we can have that once the beta version will come.
Sarika, one question is it kind of an alternate to GitHub?
No.
You
No, it is not a GitHub, because in GitHub you cannot see a dependency on a services or on a component. GitHub is just for a code repository. You will create a multiple project or a repository, then you not have any view there, like which repositories depend on which repository. So I will say it is on top of that.
Okay. All right.
Any other question, team?
And maybe one more question if there's no other question. Before using this tool, how are you tracking this?
See, I'm basically when I am working with the app development, so I have not I not have that much hands-on with the distributed architecture. So I believe I not have detail about that now. Might be it depends on company to company which software they use, but I have not used any other software. So this is very new for me.
Okay.
if apart from Atlassian, if there any other tool might be present, but I have not explored that.
No, I'm saying my question is, let's say I'm assuming you have been doing development work before using this tool as well, and
Yes.
you were developing components before, but and you needed to see the dependencies between components earlier as well.
We manually have a flow. We will basically create a flow diagram. We won't track we won't track that detail in any tool. We'll just create a flow diagram, and like that we will track. We not have explore any tool.
Okay, so in the Word document, like we show basically the
Yes,
typical
basically a flow diagram. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, folks?
If not, then I think I am good, Sajid, from my side.
All right. Thank you, Sarika, for doing this demo. I'm just going to stop the recording if there are no further questions.